let's talk OTA'S, Jonnu Smith, and everything else going on in Dolphin Nation in 3, 2. What is up, YouTube and Dolphin Nation? Welcome to Finn's Temporal Focus, affectionately known as PTF. And we're going to try to get caught up on about 2 weeks of OTAs and news and different stuff going on. And definitely want your opinions of what you think's going on. My last video, I promise I'll be a little more calm in this one, but it is going to go a little long because we're fitting a lot of stuff into one little package. But apparently the Jonnu Smith thing is still on the table. Apparently Pittsburgh is still showing interest. And basically the Dolphins said, hey, if you want more money, just don't come to camp, and you have our permission to look for a trade. I still think it's a mistake. I still think he should be compensated. I still think Zach Sealer should be compensated. And we'll get into all that, but we're going to start with, and also the Jalen Ramsey thing. No real news on Jalen Ramsey. Still don't know what's going on there other than the Rams did cut a corner, maybe to make room for Ramsey. So still no idea of what we might get for Ramsey or where he's going to go. We just know that he is not going to be a Dolphin, which definitely something we're going to talk about because the back end of the defense scares the living bejeebas out of me. But we'll start with people that are shining in OTAs, people that's not so much. The one big one, the ones that I want to talk about right off the top, Jalen Waddle. He has come into OTAs like a man possessed. And we know he's going to be number one. We know Tyreek is not going to be here next year. He may not even be here this whole year. Depends on how the Dolphin season goes, because everything is up in the air right now for this season. But Jalen Waddle is literally coming off the ball, catching, running routes, everything is so sharp right now. And just when you watch, if you catch any small videos, and I don't do the videos in the back, I don't want YouTube burning me, and I'm not that big right now. I can't afford to be burned. But if you've looked up any of the footage, he is coming off the ball like a man possessed. And I think a lot of it has to do with he is going to be the number one receiver. And I think it's going to be sooner than later, to be honest. Of course, like I said, Tua always seems to do good with OTAs. He was solid all 3 days. I think he threw a pick in the third day of OTAs. But so what? It's OTAs. He threw several touchdowns to Waddle, and still, so what? It's OTAs. It's no pads. Nobody really cares. I know, but I know Waddle really has stood out. Malik Washington, I think, has also made strides. He seems to be really coming up. I think he's going to be a great. Honestly, he'll be third, fourth. I think he'll kind of rotate out between him and, of course, I'll have to get. I lost his name. Nick Westbrook, the guy we got from Tennessee. We got him from Tennessee, could not think of his name. I think they'll both be solid threes for us. But Malik has looked really good. the Willie Gay, the inside linebacker, he's had a couple of picks. He's played all over the place. Inside linebacker, he has looked extremely, extremely well. Stormed up in, I think it was day 2. Had a pretty good day. Of course, you're still trying to figure out what that back end is going to look like, because when you really look at it, the guys that we have are all just, seems like to me, solid backups. Now, Storm has played well, but he's still more of a slot. You've got Cater, who also is more of a slot guy. Maybe these guys can pull it up. I have no idea. Cam Smith, oh, what a wasted pick. There seems like a wasted pick to this point. It's still nothing. It was interesting. He did an interview where they asked him, hey, what would you do different, coming into the league? And he said, nothing. Okay. Because you're not killing it, dude. Now, there's a lot of talk. I know the Packers cut corner Jair Alexander. I don't think anything. A lot of people's saying, hey, maybe Miami can go out and get this guy. I don't see it. I don't think that's the direction they're going. They're not going to spend money. I think it would be great if we could go get Jair, but the biggest question is going to be his ability to stay on the field. And that's the biggest issue we have in Dolphin Nation, is everybody's ability to stay on the field. Would I want him even if he only played half the season compared to what we have? Absolutely. We could get 7-8 games out of him, then it's a lot better than what we have. But at the same time, I just don't see Miami going out and spending money for this guy. And hopefully they'll bring in another corner or so. But I think we're going to ride the season with Storm, Cater, and Bonner. I think those are the guys that are going to have to step up, because I don't think we're going to bring in anybody. Which actually brings me to, this one's intriguing to me. I have seen and heard so many beat writers talk about Jason Marshall Jr. Now, he was a 5th round corner, I believe, 5th round. And we, a lot of talk. I mean, he's a big guy. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2". And he does have speed. They actually have compared him a lot to the first corner off the board this past year, and I actually don't remember where he went, what his name was, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, they compared him very favorably to the first corner that came off the board. I will correct it in the comments below. If you can beat me to it, let me know that corner, the first one that went off the board in this year's draft. But it's interesting because I've heard so many things, the hearing part, but during OTA'S, nothing. As a matter of fact, the only mention of him is the fact he's the one that got beat. Malik Washington caught like a 40-yard touchdown pass from Tua, and it was over Jason Marshall Jr. So maybe the beat writers are talking more upside. He is a rookie. He's not going to just come in and get it. But maybe it's that he could be something in the future. But when you look at OTA'S, he's not been mentioned whatsoever, unless it was giving up something. Giving up, like I said, the big play to Malik. So, still extremely, extremely worried about that back end. Now, there's also been a lot of talk. The safety, Malafanu, that we got in free agency, he's a lot of talk about him, and he has really played well. Had a couple of picks. I believe it was day 3 of OTAs. And speaking of picks, Zach Wilson has been a pick machine, apparently, in OTAs. Has not looked well. Now, Tua came out and defended him and said, hey, you're only seeing him that one day. You haven't seen the strides that he's made in practices. I hope so, because so far, everything I've heard about Zach Wilson, not good. Which we know he has an arm, we know he's athletic, but they talk like he's having a lot of problems with the fact the Dolphins' offense is very much a fast break offense. It's boom, get rid of the ball, boom, get rid of the ball. And he is more one of those 5-7 step drops, try to watch, let things progress. And that's not the type of offense we run. It's literally, quarterback hits the back foot, and everything has to be diagrammed early while you're under center or in shotgun, wherever you're at, and then you pretty much have to make most of your decisions at the snap of the ball. So apparently he has really struggled with that. They're working with him on that. Of course, the rookie Quinn Ewers, like I said, back when we drafted him, a lot of people done starting with, the Miami Savior. He's going to get, he'll take us somewhere. And I said pump the brakes then. And now I will say, nope, no pumping the brakes. Slam on those brakes, hit the emergency brake, all of that. Because he also, don't get me wrong, apparently he's had some moments. He's a rookie. He's a late round draft pick. I wasn't expecting much from him. A lot of stuff made out of him. I think it was in the Senior Bowl. Maybe he played well. But anyway, yeah, pump the brakes on that one. Dude is not ready, and by no means close to what Tua is. So forget that. A lot of stuff has come out. Now that's pretty much what I've seen. Everything else is just kind of tuning up. We'll see more in training camp. So we've got about a month and a half away from training camp. We'll see how people are doing once they put the pads on. So it's really hard to say how it's going to look at this point. I know everybody is really down on the Dolphins right now. I'm actually not. The back end of that defense scares me. Our depth on the offensive line scares me. Other than that, I'm still excited about the season. I still think it can be a high end or a low end. We could win 6 games. We could win 12 games. It's really how everything comes together. And the line, especially our edge rushers, are playing amazing right now. And if everybody can stay healthy, Chubb has come back and he looks a lot leaner. Got some speed to him. Of course, Phillips and that went blank. I do that so often. But Phillips and Chop Robinson, they've all three got the orange jerseys. Hey, they had a great practice. But I think as far as the edge rushing, if you can get these 3 guys rotating, it's going to be fun. Another guy that has done really well, I forgot while I was on the offense, Devon Achane, absolutely being a baller, which I think he has a lot to prove. Last year didn't have a good run going down the stretch, but I think he's also going to fit into that third receiver, fourth receiver mode. We'll see how the offensive line does. Maybe they'll be able to get him situated. But anyway, going back to Chop, of course, the big news too is Chop came out. Everybody's talking about the culture change, and that's all we've heard on every media list. And I'm not really as concerned about it. You can't change it once you've started. It's well, I guess you can, but it's a lot easier to come in and set the law, get the my dog is having a fit, sorry, but you've got to set the tone early, and you can kind of back off of that if you want to, but it's hard to go in and be a laid back coach and then all of a sudden, ooh, I'm going to yell at you and be a hard ass. You can't really do that. You can go the opposite way. But even Chubb came out and was like, yeah, they talked about culture change last year, but they were lying. And he says that you can see it this year. I hope that you can, because there needs to be some toughness in that locker room. And until there is, the teams that we need to beat, because Buffalo spanks us every year. We're not close to the Ravens. We're not close to the Chiefs. Honestly, I think we're closer to the Chiefs than we are the Ravens or the Bills, because the Ravens and the Bills literally smack you in the mouth. They're going to beat you up. And we have not fared well against teams like that. And so I think the idea of the culture change is good, but reality is that is going to be a hard sell, because if you start off slow and Mike McDaniel comes out and is like, hey, you got to do this, and rah, 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 when he starts his rah-rah, the players are just going to be like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say, because they're not buying it. Now, he hasn't lost the locker room. Everybody seems to be really, other than Ramsey, a few people, most of which are not here anymore. So he still has the locker room. It's just for a matter of how much time will he have with that. And then if he doesn't have that, I think the elephant in the room is going to be Anthony Weaver. I think that's why he came back. He had an opportunity to be a head coach for at least 2 different teams. He turned both of them down to come back and be defensive coordinator here. And I think if the team struggles, then I think McDaniel is out. Weaver will come in as interim coach, and if he does well, I think they give him the head coaching job, because the players love him, the front office loves him. So McDaniel is really playing for his job this season. He has got to start strong, especially in that heat in Miami, and get some wins. Of course, you got Buffalo coming in again, week 3. That's going to be the big test. Week 3 or week 4, but that's going to be the big test, and see how that works. Can we challenge them at all? But I think that's going to be the story. And if it starts to fall apart early, look for Weaver to come in and take over that spot. And, well, at least as interim. And if the Dolphins can turn it around at all, then I think I think he'll keep that job. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The guys that have looked good, really the only ones that's really you could say looks bad. Cam Smith hasn't done well. Neither of the backup quarterbacks has done well. But other than that, it's just camp stuff, you know. The big sellers right now is Waddle, Malik, Willie Gay. Storm Duck has been pretty solid. And then, of course, all the edge rushers, Chop, Chubb, Phillips, they seem to all be just really getting after it. So we'll see. Training camp starts toward the end of July, so not a lot is going to be going on for the next month and a half. I may try to get out a couple of videos within that time, talking about some of the camp battles. I'd still like to try and get the making the case for Mark Clayton. If you guys are interested in that, please leave a comment. But other than that, guys, just make good decisions and Ben's up.